Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you this Clevertronics Odyssey Cadmium, if I pronounce that correctly, 1.2 meter 2x16 watt LED emergency batten. Okay, now this is basically a batten that I have in my collection, and this is essentially the same as my 2x9 watt, except this one's twice the length and it's 2x18 watt LED. Okay. So this batten here I actually had out in the lounge room. Okay, I decided to just bring it into my light collection because it turns out we really don't need it out in the lounge room. Okay, now this batten here, like the others, this was originally a economy nickel cad batten when I bought it. Okay, but in 2017 that range was discontinued and the batteries were discontinued, so I decided to upgrade it. Okay, and when it was the old range, it was fluorescent. Okay, but with everything all going LED, I decided just to upgrade it to LED and just have it as a modern batten. So the range I converted this to is L10, which is the top of the range by Clevertronics, which uses lithium nanophosphate batteries. Okay, and they last quite a long time compared to other lithium ones, and also being LED, it's a lot more newer technology. Okay, so this is part of the Odyssey Cadmium range, which is the Clevertronics batten range. There's you can get these in bare, diffused, or WireGuard. Okay, and you can see there's the other ones there, and they're all the examples there. Okay, so this is a combined non-maintained function, but you can get configure it to be maintained if you want. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so we'll take a look around it. So this is the end of the batten right here, if you can see here. There's the look of it there. The part number for this is LBS218S. Okay, so that's the part number for it. All right. So this batten I think I bought back in probably 2015. I think I bought this. I can't seem to remember. But it was the same function, but with all the newer Clevertronics battens now, the Odyssey battens, the emergency light is on this this end cap part. It used to be, on the older ones, it used to be the tubes, but now it's this part. Okay, so basically what they've done is they've taken their LifeLight assembly and just put it in this what they call a pod, so you could have a LifeLight batten hybrid kind of. Okay, so this is the L10, of course. Now, the L10 ones always use the LifeLight Pro head, okay, but now you might have seen in the LP ones that they have the LifeLight Pro head that I have. That's because I made them that way. This has been a LifeLight Pro since I bought the end cap. So when I upgraded it, I had to buy this end cap and, of course, the LifeLight Pro inverter to convert it to an L10 batten. Okay, so the batteries are contained inside the end cap. If you can see, they're actually zip tied on. They're behind here, behind the lamp holders. You can't really see it, but they are in there. So to get to them, you need to pull these two plugs out. Then you undo two Phillips head screws, and this whole cover comes off, and then you can get to the batteries, which are hidden inside. Okay, the inverter is actually inside the chassis of the batten. And when it was the old range, the battery used to be in the body of the batten, but now it's in the emergency end cap. So when you buy this, you get the batteries included with it. Okay, so which is quite nice actually. So rather than buying new battens, you can actually just convert them. Okay, so it's cheaper than buying a new batten. So you just need to buy a new inverter and a new end cap, and away you go. Now to convert it to the L10 is not very cheap, but you're looking about $100 for this, and you're looking about another $100 for the inverter. So that's nearly $200 worth of parts you've got to purchase. But buying the L10 batten is probably around $300 or something. So like I said, it's cheaper to just upgrade it. Okay, and also you'd have to buy a couple of LED tubes as well. So you have to buy two LED tubes, which are around $10 each. So that's just the way it goes. All right. So now this batten here, this uses Type A LED tubes. Okay, they're made by SAL, which is this right here. Okay, these are cool white because this is cool white, so I wanted to keep everything the same. So Type A, which means they take a starter. So this batten here actually has concealed starters. The starters there's a starter right here and a starter right there. So to get to them, you actually got to take this plate off. Okay. This batten here takes a computer cable. This is where the old emergency button and indicator light used to be when it was the old range, but I removed all of that and put this port on here so it can take a removable cable. It just makes it more convenient. Okay, we have a switch here to control the tubes. Okay, each tube has its own switch, of course. Okay, being a double batten, each tube has its own switch. Okay, if this were a maintained function, there will be 3 switches to control this as well, because if you saw my wire guard batten, that's a maintained function, and that's got a switch that controls this, so you can use that as an ordinary light. But since this is a combined non-maintained, this part here will remain off when there's power and only come on when the power fails. Okay, so when the power's on, you just basically use the tubes like that. All right, but if the power fails, this part comes on. All right, so okay, so these are the lamp holders this uses, and these are unique to these battens. So if you break one, you actually got to order one from Clevertronics. Okay, the part number and everything will be on their website. And the lamp holders are about $7 each, so they're not that expensive. Okay. Now on the 1.2 meter bare battens, the plate's actually held on by 3 caps. There's one here, one in the middle, and one here. Okay, there's 3 holding it on, as where the diffused and wire guards, they only have 1 in the middle, and the short ones only have 1, but the long ones, they always have 3. I don't know why, that's just probably why Clevertronics made it, probably. Okay, and also the plate is held on by the lamp holders as well. Okay, now I'll turn this around up so you can see what's on the back. So here's the back of the batten. As you can see, there's plenty of holes, so plenty of ventilation. The inverter's here, okay, and the terminal block is there. Now, these wooden parts you see on here are feet. They're just to stabilise the batten so it doesn't move around or scratch the furniture. Okay, but because the dresser is too short, these are just going to hang over the lips of the dresser, and apparently it's going to move around. All right, so yeah, pretty cool batten. I really like these. Okay, so this is the emergency light. It's a LifeLight Pro. So you got 2 3-watt cool white LEDs. Okay, when you press this button, they come on, as you can see. Okay. All right, and that's pretty bright too. So it's a D64 lumen. I'll give you a close up on those if you can see, if my camera will focus on those. Okay, so there's the 2 bulbs right there. They're very tiny, but they're very bright. Okay, and you have your indicator there, so it's green. Now, this doesn't have Clevertest, but I am going to be putting Clevertest in this, okay, when I get the module for it. Okay, but you can see that is very, very bright. Okay, so LifeLight Pro puts out a D64 lumen output. Okay, so I guess we'll open this up and I'll show you what's inside. Okay, to open it up, you need to take the tubes out. Of course, like this. Okay. All right, so let me just make a bit of room here. All right, so we got those out. So you take the tubes out. Now you've got to undo these 3 caps to get the plate off. So you just undo these. So you turn them anti-clockwise like you would any other one. So you just turn them to the left and it will loosen them. So you undo that, and now you need to push on these parts here on the lamp holders. So you just push those in, and now we can lift the plate off. Just pop that there. And this batten is for LED only. There is no ballast. There is no ballasts in this, of course, so you can't run fluorescent in it. And I don't think you would anyway, because fluorescent's old technology anyway. I don't use old technology now. I also put the sticker on there so you know it's for LED only. So here we have our inverter. So this is basically just an L10 LifeLight Pro inverter. To change this to maintain, you need to actually open up, and there's a little thing that you slide, that you unplug and plug back on inside here, and that will change the function of it. But right now it's set to non-maintained. Okay, if you might remember the video I showed you on the surface mount LifeLight fittings, I actually did a video of showing you how to change the function of that. So here we have our starter receptacles. So now we've got access to them. Now the plate's off. Okay, that's our starter there, HRC fuse type of starter. That's what type A LEDs use, of course. Even has a sticker on there. So these wires here connect the end cap into the inverter. Okay, here we have our terminal block right here where the wires are. We have our switch terminals, if you can see right there. And of course we have the terminals for the port. Okay, and of course the other starter, which is the exact same thing. Okay, a bit dusty in there. Okay, so that's basically all that's inside. Okay, this batten. So it's basically all that's inside. And as you can tell, the wire, I've got wire nuts in there. I might even put a few new wires in here actually. But when this was originally the old range, I did have a ballast and everything in it. So, but I did remove all that ever since I upgraded it. Okay, so on the old sustained function of the old economy range, the way that worked was that you had the two tubes, but one tube would be usable while there's power, and the other tube would only illuminate when the power failed. Okay, so that's just like a non-maintained emergency lamp combined with a normal 240 volt lamp. Okay, now this batten here you can also get in a single. Okay, I do have a single one, and I will have a video of that coming up once I get a new battery, because the battery for it apparently is faulty, so I've got to get a new battery, and this is the battery here. Okay, so that's what they look like. It's an LP. This is the Clevertronics battery, and apparently this one's faulty, so I need to get a new one. Okay, so, but otherwise I can just use this one. Now this one here takes two batteries, as where the single one only has one battery. Okay, now these LED tubes go back in. Now it doesn't matter which way you put these in, but I like to put them in a particular way. So you basically just line it up there, line it up there, and same for this one. Okay, so now we've got the tubes in. Okay, so you simply flip the switch and the tubes will light up. Okay, so that's what it looks like with the tubes on. Okay, and it's pretty bright too, because you've got two 18 watt LEDs, and we'll even turn this on and compare it just for kicks. Okay, you can see the difference there between the tubes and that. Okay, this has clear LEDs. These are opal, but I do have clear LED tubes as well. Okay, you can see there. So yeah, two tiny LEDs, and you've got lots of LEDs in these tubes. But once again, it's supposed to be bright for emergency light applications. Okay, so that is basically all there is to this batten. Okay. I do have, the Clevertronics do make battens that have a LifeLite head on them. Okay, just a LifeLite head assembly on the plate. They're completely different. You can also get a batten like this. We have two LifeLite Pro heads on either end. But this one here is just an Odyssey Cadmium standard batten. So this is basically just an ordinary standard batten with a emergency light on the end. Okay, so that's basically all there is to this batten. So I hope you enjoyed, and that'll be it.